Rightio, welcome on in, Skin Club fans, because we are back again for another exclusive Skin Club episode from the geographically challenged lads. Pilski's got his popcorn, Bleh's got his coffee. I'm here just raw, unfiltered,
just
ready
depressed.
Raw dogging it.
I don't know if I'm depressed necessarily. I'm feeling okay, actually. A's just done really well at this major. What are we here to discuss today? Well, we're here to discuss the major. We're here to discuss the playoffs of the major, give you guys a bit of a preview as to what you should be expecting in the upcoming few days. Now, this is obviously releasing a couple of days before the major playoffs kicks off. So, looking forward to the major playoffs, and I think there's a lot of interesting storylines to discuss here. We've just talked about Stage 3 during the last episode of Geographically Challenged, so we won't really be talking about what has happened. We're really just focusing in on what is going to happen here. So, we'll start things off, I guess, just by quickly looking at the bracket here and just discussing how cooked this bracket is, by the way, that you have three of the top four teams on one side of the bracket, plus Navi, unfortunately, rip Navi, on one side of the bracket. And then on the other side of the bracket, it's like, well, this doesn't really seem like it should have gone this way. But, that's the way the results played out.
It's like a PGL Bucharest playoff bracket on the top side if you look at it.
Yeah, it's a PGL Bucharest quarterfinals.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah. Why do I keep trying to make that work? I don't know, but anyways.
Oh my god,
it's true though.
Yeah.
Look, if you're a Mongols or FaZe fan, you're very happy with this, right? Like, you're looking at the bracket, you're like, fuck yeah. If you're a Brazilian counters, I know we did this in like previous video as well, but shout out Brazil, man. Like, this event has been phenomenal for them. Asian CS, obviously, we saw Lin and Tyloo make the deep runs, but we had Legacy with MIBR knocking out Falcons. We had Pain making it to playoffs. We had Furia looking good as well, continuing their form. So, yeah. While we might have seen NA die, everyone else have risen up, and I'm okay with that.
We love Brazil here in this Asia CS podcast because they are usually the teams that will lose to us for some reason. So the more Brazilian teams that get towards the top of the scene, the more upset potential for Asian CS teams, and that's good for everyone. All right, so let's go Brazil.
Let's go Brazil. All right. Are we ready? I think we're ready. I think let's go straight into this one here, and just sort of we'll go through the teams. Basically, the way I've sort of set this up is that it gives us an opportunity to talk about all 8 of the playoffs teams, but it also lets us sort of talk about the matchups as we're going.
Can you read the criterias, because I'm getting old.
You're blind.
I probably got to go to specs.
I can't make out what the fuck the text is. Honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so the text is winner ? Because look, you can never guarantee it, but
you never know.
Potential winner, good chance, 50-50, some faith, and out in quarterfinals. So basically, we just rank them more or less where we feel. It's going to be hard because, like, I think in some circumstances you're going to look at, like, for example, Spirit and Mouse, and we can't kind of like say, well, they're both going to be a winner, or they could technically, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of weird. So we just have to kind of go with the vibe thing here. It's not, look, for those of you that are watching, don't necessarily put a whole lot of stock into what exact position they're in the tier list. It's just a vehicle for discussion, really. So let's talk about Spirit and Mouse to start things off. Wait, what actually is the first?
Out in quarters first. Can we go from out in quarters?
Can we start? Wait, hold up. Can we start like Furia Pain instead? I think that's more interesting.
Wait, yeah, that is actually the first match. So let's go in order of match. Yeah. So Furia and Pain is the first match. Then we'll talk Spirit Mouse. So Furia Pain, first match.
But are we ranking them not matchup, right? Like
just in terms of a vibe check, like.
A vibe check.
Yeah,
and then we do the bracket?
We can do the bracket as well if you want.
Okay.
I haven't got a graphic for the bracket, but...
shit, man. I mean, for me, if we're going to go Furia Pain, especially because of how... Well, partly... Actually, not because of how the bracket goes, because I feel like that domestic derby makes it more doable for Pain. But I think...
Not in the arena.
I'd say, Pain out in quarter, and then Furia, I'd say... 50-50 or some faith. I'm leaning more towards 50-50. I don't know. I'm liking Furia. I don't know why.
Me too. But are they going to beat FaZe or /Mongols in the semis?
I think they could beat FaZe. Maybe.
I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I mean,
50-50 means they have an outside chance of winning the major.
Oh, nah, some faith.
I can't think. I don't think they're going to beat any. I mean, maybe Navi, but I don't see them beating
no.
Spirit.
I
Mouse,
wouldn't-
or
Okay, so
Vitality.
if this is the vibe check, because the thing is, like, if I could go 50-50 of, like, you're going to win the major.
No, 50-50 is not
then-
going to win the major, by the way, Bleh. 50-50
Okay,
is like, you're a 50-50 to, like, do okay. You know what I mean? Whereas good chance is, like, you might make the final, but you're not a chance of winning.
I think I could put Furia in 50-50.
50-50.
Against FaZe? Like, I think I'd have FaZe above 50-50 probably. So I could put Furia 50-50.
I echo your thoughts. I'm just going to add on one more thing. Pain at the bottom, out in the quarters. I'm
Out
sorry.
in quarters, yeah. You got
Yep.
basically out in quarters is like we have zero faith that they're even going to make it out of their quarterfinal. And the reason I had
100%.
that, the reason I had that specific,
For Pain.
well, no, it was actually for Navi, to be quite honest, because Navi's playing Vitality. Like, I'm like, I don't reckon you can.
Who does Navi beat if they don't play Vitality?
They
That's an
did.
interesting question.
They did win Copenhagen in this form, right? Where they were not a favorite, and they're looking better right now. And the thing with Blade as well, he made an interview as well. It's like, yeah, we know we're not the best team right now, and and we know we can probably beat Vitality 1 out of 10 times we play. We just need to make sure that one time is the game that we need to win, right? And it can happen. I don't think Navi are like complete. I wouldn't put. Okay, let's put it this way. I wouldn't put Navi in the same position as Pain. Despite the fact that if you look at the side of the brackets, you're like, holy shit, look at these teams over there, right? But yeah,
If they're vibe checking, I'll put them above out in quarters, but they will go out in quarters.
yeah, it's Vitality.
Yeah. Okay, look, so what? I wasn't really paying attention to what you guys were saying. I was
Navi
fiddling
some
with some
faith.
buttons. Navi
No one
some
does.
faith? You don't even have them out in quarters. You guys
Not because of where they're seated, but as a vibe check.
Okay.
Like relative level vibe check, but that's a rough matchup for them, obviously.
I agree.
Interesting.
I think they've been cucked by the bracket, but I could see them beating 4 of the teams in this bracket. Like, they're just on a terrible side of the bracket. I think everyone in the upper bracket I could give Navi a shout against. It sucks. It sucks that they've been seeded against Vitality first round.
Well, it's not even just Vitality. It's also the fact that they would, if they win against Vitality, have to also then play Spirit or Mouse. It's just like, you have the worst possible potential run, but
I mean, if you do beat Vitality though, then you should be good enough to win the major, no?
I guess so.
You say that, but there are other teams as well.
Legacy didn't even make it out of stage 3 and they beat Vitality. So I mean that.
That's
kinda-
fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right. So, yeah, I don't know. This is where it gets a bit weird because when you're talking about Spirit and Mouse, we kind of have to almost like. I think they're both kind of like good chance or even potential winner question mark. You know what I mean? Like realistically speaking, like that should be a grand final matchup if. Or whichever team, Mouse or Spirit, makes it through from their quarterfinal, then ultimately probably plays against Vitality. Like, you'd look at that and go, on paper, that's the grand final. But unfortunately, they're going to meet in the semi-final. So that's where it gets a little bit weird. So did you guys have faith in one over the other, a bit more specifically?
Probably more faith in Spirit.
Yeah.
Because Mouse have struggled so much at this event against teams that you'd want to see them win cleanly against at the end of the day. At the same time, though, I mean, you could make the argument that Spirit hasn't been tested as much, which is something that we kind of discussed on the podcast. But at the same time, when I look at the series that Mouse are playing, like these are teams that when Mouse were at their peak, I'm thinking like, we got to be putting Liquid, Aurora, Legacy. We got to be putting all these teams away 2-0. We should not really be losing best of ones to Virtus Pro or FaZe, really. Yep. So like these are all teams that you serve those up to Mouse when they're playing in their peak form, and you're thinking this should be an easy run. This should be a 3-0.
So do either of them get to go into winner category, or is it just Vitality?
It's only Vitality
I think
for me.
Only Vitality goes into win.
And I think that's fair. Vitality have pulled off what they've done this year is unprecedented. I think it only compared to Astralis 2018, and even then, I don't think it was like this level of dominance. You know what I mean, right? Like Astralis, sure, they won a lot of big events here and there, but sure, they lost a few maps here and there in between in games. But this is like unprecedented fucking run for Vitality. And even if you count in the legacy loss they had, just the way they were able to bounce back from that, they're like, oh, cool, we're done with it. We're done with the streak now. Let's fucking win. I think they're coming in as one of the strongest. Not just strongest team, one of the strongest favorites we've ever had at a fucking major. I'm putting like NIP in 2013 as one of the conversation points here in 2014. I'm looking at Astralis in 2019 as like, that level of dominance. Navi, for example, in 2021, that's the sort of dominance coming into the major here. And I think it would be unbecoming of us to put any other team in that particular category.
No, I 100% agree. I think it's a really good point. It's actually probably something that hasn't been discussed enough, and maybe that's just because we haven't really got into the playoffs discussions up to this point at the major. But I really like the take that Vitality is potentially the most favorite team going into a major in a long, like, when was the last time that you had a major?
2021. No, sorry, like a major, you mean?
Yeah, a major. Where you were like, this team is literally the team. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's 2021 when Navi came in, right? They were like super dominant at the time. They won Stockholm, but apart from that, it's always been kind of up in the air because you look at Antwerp, for example. It was like FaZe, Navi. We don't know who's going to fucking come on top. Rio as well. It was kind of like up in the air. There's never been like a firm favorite coming in, like one team, not like two teams, like one team coming in.
Yeah.
The way the Vitality have come into this major.
Yeah. It will be a shocking result if they lose anywhere. I mean, look, maybe not if they lose in the grand final, but then when you think about who they would ultimately play in the grand final, it's kind of like I can see Vitality losing to a Spirit or a Mouse, but do I see them losing to them in a semi-final?
They have a hard run, man. Like,
they
do. It's ridiculous. They haven't really been rewarded for. I mean, they went 3-1. To be fair, like that best of one.
That's the actual problem. Is that they went 3-1 and Spirit went 3-0.
Is it kind of because also some other teams had kind of shakier runs as well, though? Like you have fucking Mouse in the 3-2 bracket.
There's that. But even had Mouse not gone 3-2, there was a chance after Spirit goes 3-0 and Vitality goes 3-1, there is a chance they can be on the same side of the bracket, which ultimately would have ended up being kind of the same conversation, because regardless of who Spirit would have faced instead of Mouse, let's just say we swap. Who's the other 3-on team? It's FaZe, right? If we were to swap FaZe and Mouse, we'd still go, well, Spirit probably wins that matchup. It's probably still Vitality versus Spirit in that semi-final, in which case that's still a tough run. So it's really on you for having gone 3-1 as opposed to 3-0. You want to be dodging these teams, you have to go on to the other side of the bracket. But the problem is, I guess, one, Falcons is not here, which makes one side of the bracket look extremely weighted. We don't have like that, in theory, 2-2 split. And two, Mouse also underperformed. You would expect, let's say Vitality Spirit should be 3-0, Falcons and Mouse should be 3-1. Therefore, we have that 2-2 split. We don't have that 2-2 split because one team went 3-0, one team went 3-1, one team went 3-2. Therefore, they can all be on the same side of the bracket. So yes, what you're saying is true in that it is weird because some teams underperformed, but ultimately you would have had potentially a pretty tough looking bracket either way, but for the fact that Vitality didn't go 3-0 anyway. So look, enough about that. FaZe Mongols, the only one that we haven't really talked about here. I honestly feel like you could put both of them in good chance just because of where they sit on the bracket. Like, they are a good chance of making it to the final.
This is where we have to go. Are we going by the bracket? Are we going by the vibe check?
Okay.
I kind of feel like putting FaZe in front of Mouse, and I don't feel good about putting Mongols in that bracket, but I could be talked into it. I think put Mongols ahead of Furia.
Yeah.
But, and maybe in good chance behind Mouse, but I'm not sure if I've sold myself on it. That's how I feel about it right now.
I'd put Mongols, like, I know we can't do this, but I'd put them like on a Venn diagram, basically, like,
you put them like here.
Yeah, right there, like intersecting between the second and third tier. That's where I'd put them. I think they're really, look, if they're able to beat FaZe, I think a finals run is absolutely on the cards for Mongols, 100%.
Yeah.
I just don't see Mongols beating Vitality. If Vitality make it to the playoffs, I don't see Mongols beating Spirit, Vitality, or Mouse in the grand finals. That's my issue. I think the only team on that side of the bracket, on FaZe and Mongol side of the bracket, who have an outside chance of beating your Mouse or Spirit or Vitality, or even Navi, if they manage to fluke their way through, would be FaZe, right? That's the only team you can really go for. So I'm okay with these, with where it places teams, honestly.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Mouse, if they had a better run in the previous stage, like they'd had a bit more of a dominant run and shown like they're really clean, kind of gameplay that we're used to seeing from them, then we'd probably have more confidence and put them above FaZe. But with the bracket draw and how shaky they've looked in some of these maps, then I don't know.
Also got to remember, like, even though Mouse have kind of shed the tags of like having lost to FaZe, they seem to always have this mental thing against FaZe, especially when it comes to like elimination games or playoff games. Like FaZe always seem to have the number. Like Carrigan just schooled his team for some reason or the other. So if Mouse actually make it to the fucking finals, I think they come in as underdogs against FaZe. If FaZe, and obviously if it's a FaZe grand finals with them.
That would be one of the most insane runs. Spirit, Vitality, FaZe back to back to win a major. Like fucking fair go.
Legit as fuck if they pull that off.
Well,
actually, legit
we've done the vibe check. Let's do the actual bracket here. I cooked this one up in the lab just while we were talking to get this graphic ready to go. Thank you to SkinClub, funnily enough, for making this pretty easy actually, because they've got this on their website. So it's the best way to do a bracket simulation without fucking around with something like challenge or whatever. What do you guys want to start? I mean, I guess we'll start with the Furia and Pain again. I think we all sort of went with Furia pretty comfortably. That, to me, it does feel like an upsettable game, to be honest. Like, I think Pain have been in reasonable form, but the fact that it took them...
In a normal tournament, that's like a 50-50. But in a major playoffs, like in front of a crowd, I see that as like
you're going up against fucking Fallen.
Yeah, but even like Yuri and Quesarado, like these guys have got their reps in majors. Yakindar's played a fair bit on stage, if I'm not mistaken. So
yes.
Yeah, I think that they have just really got quite a big experience edge over a team like Pain, and that's what really makes a difference. If we were just talking like a regular, even like an S tier event in like the earlier stages, like the studio stage, 100% Pain could win this matchup, but in an arena game, I think it's going to be tough for them.
All right, then Spirit and Mouse. And this is, again, like we talked about, I think, honestly, I think on paper, that to me is a 50-50. I know you guys were kind of leaning a little bit towards Spirit, but I actually think that's a super close matchup. One thing that I don't think we've talked about so far is the fact that Mouse have beaten Spirit twice this year. As far as the results this year are concerned, Mouse have actually had Spirit's number. Now, whether or not that changes here at the major, I'm not so sure, but I think, honestly, if you would have asked going into the major or even prior to stage 3, most people probably would have had Mouse a little higher in a power ranking than what Spirit were. Spirit kind of seemed like that fourth sort of fiddle, like, we normally would say third fiddle, but in this instance, top four, fourth fiddle, where we have Vitality number 1, we have probably Falcons number 2, Mouse number 3, and then Spirit, there seemed to be like a little bit of a drop-off in that conversation as a number 4 seed. I think it's a lot of just recency bias, the fact that people are now starting to think, okay, maybe Spirit over Mouse, to be honest. But actually, generally speaking, Mouse coming in, power ranking-wise, were slated a little bit higher than Spirit, have had a bit of a better run in the head-to-head against Spirit throughout this year so far. So what is the argument against actually having Mouse here as the team that goes through from that semi-final? I actually think it's more favorable for Mouse. Or am I capping?
I agree with you, but if I have to play the devil's advocate here, it'd just be the fact that, Mouse, well, what's the only event? Like, they've had a lot of deep runs, right? They've had a lot of playoff runs and everything this year so far. But apart from the fairy tale win they had in Cluj, which didn't have Spirit, which didn't have Vitality, all these top 3 teams, they haven't been able to, make it to the final step. You know what I mean? They haven't even reached the finals a lot of the time. So that's the one argument I can put against them. But
you go finals in Dallas though, like they beat Falcons and Mongols back to back.
True, fair. Again, fine. Falcons legit win right there, but I do agree with you. Like if you put a gun to my head and I pick one, I would do Mouse. Okay. I think even though the group stage was a bit of a struggle fest for them, I feel overall when they get to play the CS they want to play, I think overall they're just a better team than Spirit. And Spirit is just still, I won't lie, it's still a donk show with Chiro appearing as Robin once in a while. That's about it. So as a betting man, I'd go to Mouse here.
I think I'd definitely lean towards Spirit. So you could be the tiebreaker, Jordan. I think Spirit, their last stage, They just really didn't show too much weakness. They even put Navi away pretty comfortably to go through. I think they got a lot of momentum 3-0. I think Mals are kind of the opposite. They're kind of looking very shaky at this tournament so far. So I think Spirit's definitely got the form factor, but I would not be surprised to see Mals win. I think a lot of people can see this matchup going either way.
Yeah, this is the thing for me, is that it just does feel like a bit of a 50-50. Now, the other arguments in favor of Spirit is, I don't think that they're a team that really gives a shit. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of, they could be playing in a studio, they could be playing on a stage, they don't give a shit. They've got that swag, they've got that sort of swagger, I guess, where it doesn't seem like the situation really gets to them, maybe in the same way that it does to certain other teams. And Mouse was definitely one of those teams in the past. Have they gotten over that in more recent times? Yes, to an extent, but, you know, Spirit is the defending champion here at a major. Like, we know that on the bigger stage, this 5 as well, by the way, without having made any roster changes, can do it. So there's an argument there. And again, I kind of agree form-wise. I also kind of agree X-Factor-wise. Spirit just have maybe got the players that are just going to go, we're going to put ourselves into the semi-final or the grand final. So I am really here with a bit of a toss-up. Obviously, both of you have gone in a different direction. I was initially arguing for Mouse. Now I'm kind of almost arguing for Spirit. I think that kind of just goes to show, really, that this is a massive coin flip of a matchup. So at a major playoffs, I mean, I feel like I want to put Spirit, even though I actually in my pick'em put Mouse. You know what I mean? Like, that's just Isn't
there a lot of that going on at the moment? There's a lot of people who say, in my fantasy, I need this team to win. In my pick'ems, I need this team to win.
It's like hedging your bets. It's like hedging your bets, definitely. The thing is, I think Mouse is a better team, but I think Spirit will be a team that can do better at the major.
Enough yapping. Pick one.
I've got Spirit. I've got Spirit in there.
Cool.
But
I'm still going to stick with Mouse. That's my pick. But democracy, it's always a mistake. But yeah. All right, where are you going next?
All right, interesting things Bleh said today on podcasts. We'll move on. Vitality. That one seems like a pretty easy pick. Anyone want to make an argument for Navi?
Vitality choke and shit the bed, which they haven't done at all this entire year. Not going to happen. They're going to destroy Navi. And Navi, look, I feel they played okay. They're pretty decently considering the struggles they've had recently. But, bro, you're going up against, like, currently one of the most dominant teams we've actually ever seen in Counter-Strike in a quarterfinals here. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, especially a Navi that's kind of like been a bit up and down. You know,
if Navi was on the other side of the bracket, I could make a case for them making the playoffs, 100%, but not against Vitality, bro. I'm sorry.
I think they can beat all 4 of the teams on the right side of the bracket, but they just they have a rough draw. Unless Blade runs a simulation, like we have some kind of montage of him like waking up, brushing his teeth, walking to the arena, then he loses, then it's Groundhog Day, he goes back into bed again, wakes up, and we find the 10% chance or whatever he said, then I think it's GG's.
You know what though?
They did do Copenhagen last year. They pulled off the miracle in Copenhagen.
And look, that would, if Navi would upset Vitality in that game, that playoffs game, that I think would be this major epitomized in one playoffs match. You know, like
if that happened,
it would it not be more entertaining than Vitality just crushing everyone and winning the major?
It would be way more fun if Vitality get knocked up by Navi. I won't lie. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't know what's
anyone can win. Yeah, at that point anyone can win.
At that point, fucking Mongols make it into playoffs. Let's fucking go, right? Like,
that's the fucking, what is it, Doctor Strange timeline where Mongols win a major, is it?
Yeah, with Navi, facing on Navi in the grand final.
Navi makes it through this stage of the bracket, and then Mongols face Navi in the grand final. Yeah, maybe.
And as much as I want to entertain this line of thought, bro, Vitality, the shit they pulled off this year, I can't even fantasize. You know what I mean? I can't be like, yeah, Navi, maybe. No. Vitality are just a whole fucking beast. Sure, the pressure is there, but they've handled it every single time. Also, that streak thing, that's out the window. They also like fuck it. Well, and you know what they did in the next couple of games? Just fucking destroyed whoever they played against. Like completely dominated them. So
I feel like Falcons has just been made to like simulate grand finals for them to win this major. Just like, oh fuck, how many bad situations can we put you in like other tournaments, grand finals, and then they're not even here to test them. They're like, all right, your training's complete. Just go in the major, mate.
I don't think that there's any genuine argument against Vitality, not only in this matchup, but probably for the major grand final as well. People obviously will pick against them if they're going to try and go for like the spicy take or whatever. But like if we're just looking at it from a logical standpoint, a historical standpoint, form standpoint, any argument you can possibly, like individuals, star player, like Zywoo's probably the most consistent individual star that we've got going around at the moment as well. 5 core, like who kind of beats Vitality pound for pound in terms of manpower just across the board. Like I don't think that there's any argument that you can make that is anti-Vitality at this point in time. Does that mean that they are going to win the major? Not necessarily. We've obviously seen in the past that the favorites have gone through and not been able to pull it off. But if you're going to come to this video after Vitality don't win the major and be like, "Oh, you guys are idiots," it's like, well, you're just literally you're capping with yourself. Like if you genuinely think there's an argument against Vitality right now, I want what you're smoking, to be honest. So
must be really good shit. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's probably coming out the Ganges River or something like that. But
so fucking ayahuasca.
If you want the context on that one, you're gonna have to go watch the last episode of Geographically Challenged. That sounds like it's come out of left field for people that haven't watched that episode. But
it makes you sound fucking weird. I'll tell you.
I know. That's why I had to make that caveat. I was like, actually, that sounds kind of weird for people that don't.
Got to hear the
context.
story about how Blair took Jordan down the Ganges River when he came to cast Cobex Masters.
Yeah.
And I dunked him. Just fucking put his head in the water.
All right,
it's never been the same.
Let's talk about the game.
Mongols and FaZe. We leave the best to last. Look, I think Mongols. I think Mongols are the favorite. I know
Generally,
there are arguments against FaZe. I know there's arguments for FaZe, and I've heard them all. I've watched FaZe. Simple's looking fucking awesome. I love FaZe.
What's that logo on your shirt? I can't see that. It's a bit pixelated. What team is that?
Team Australia.
Sell out.
Yeah, open it up and link us the details, brother.
we could see the telltale signs of how Mongols can just fucking bottle against big name teams.
Yes,
we saw that against FaZe. The ancient choke, I was okay with the round, but the round happened, right? Fine. Like, you shit the bed, it's okay. But they capitulated, and Anubis, bro, they got bullied.
Yeah.
They got bullied by fucking FaZe, by the way. So, Ankh was like, like the Asian dad coming in, just kicking the shit out of you. We saw that in a group stage. This is FaZe. Playoffs phase. There's a major playoffs phase, guys, with Simple, the GOAT, gunning for Zywoo, gunning to pull off what would be an incredible run from FaZe. And as much as I love my Mong bros, it's not happening here. It's not happening against FaZe. FaZe is going to take it. I know, I hate it, but it's going to happen,
If not now, then when for Mongols? Is my question. If they can't do it here, if they cannot beat FaZe and go through this side of the bracket at a major, when are they ever going to be able to get top 4 in a major or even into a grand final? It's got to happen here.
I agree, but I haven't seen enough from them for me to have faith to put them over FaZe. I agree with you 100%. Like, this is your best chance to make it to the finals of an S-tier event. But every time we've a major, by the way, and we've seen this every single time this year, like, oh, Klishnapoka, it's Mongols' event to fucking win. Fucking shot the bed in the fucking quarterfinals, right? Bucharest didn't even fucking make it. Full studio event, by the way. No arena, nothing. Couldn't even fucking make it to the playoffs, right? They haven't given me any faith that they can win the game that matters in a playoff. They haven't done it at all. The Liquid game comes to mind, where I am in Melbourne, where 19 just fucking went nuclear Inferno. But apart from that, man, just tell me one game which instilled you with some faith that they can get this win. None.
In the playoffs, no. In the playoffs, no.
In the playoffs, yeah, I'm talking playoffs. This is a fucking major playoff, guys. It's completely like group stage games. Nothing matters right now. You're going up against. I'm not even bringing Vitality or Mouse into the equation. You're talking about FaZe, who are. A lot of people have said this. No one wants to play this FaZe. We have nothing to lose playing the way they are right now. This gung with CS. And this is a team who thrives in that live environment. They're just going to play some fuck you CS. Karrigan's going to call circles around Blitz. And when that happens, we saw it in group stage as well. Blitz, when he runs out of ideas, man, Mongols look terrible. They look fucking terrible. And individuals start over-peaking, over-swinging, and making these mistakes and trying too hard to kind of steal the round away. And then it just just combust internally. And I've seen this too many times. I love these guys. I want them. This is the best chance to make it to the finals of a fucking major and an event they've had. But if they pull it off, I'm going to be absolutely gobsmacked. And I really doubt they will.
What's the what's your vibe check on give me like a 50-50? Is it 60-40? Is it 70-30? Like FaZe favorite here for you guys.
70. I think 70-30 personally.
65-35. But yeah, 70-30, whatever.
So there's still a reasonable in your mind there's still a reasonable chance here for
I think on if you just we're playing like a studio game that didn't matter, I'd probably be like 60-40 Mongols, to be honest. With these current lineups.
Okay, well, let me rephrase this then. Going into the stage 3 game, was it FaZe favored? So if we would disregard that result, that 2-0, going into the stage 3 game, did you have Mongols as your favorite in that matchup against FaZe?
No.
Really?
No. I don't. I mean, the odds would sway a little bit back in the favor of Mongols. I would still go with the way FaZe, bro.
Right.
Again, I'm reiterating this. This is a major playoffs phase, and I know.
Yeah, but I'm talking specifically for stage 3. That's obviously a group stage game.
You mean
that specific game, did you think Mongols was the favorite?
game that they last played against.
The game that they last played.
Oh, sorry, I misheard. Mongols are 100% the favorites.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So to you, it's just the situation that changes it.
It's the fact that it's a playoffs game. Yeah. I mean, that adds to it. But even without a result, I would have been like, bro, it's FaZe in a fucking major playoffs. Even if you're like a crazy Mongolian fan, you know what that means.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Mongols have got a mental hurdle to climb here. It's something we talked about on the podcast, but they were building some kind of fan base or some kind of crowd favoritism in North America, as they do wherever they go, because they're such a beloved team. But I think FaZe is the one team that they can draw in the quarterfinals where the crowd will not cheer for them and will instead cheer against them, which is kind of unlucky.
I think the crowd's going to cheer for both.
I think, yeah, to some extent. But I don't think they have some kind of crazy crowd buff. I think the crowd is probably going to want FaZe to win. And I think it's better for this tournament.
But Pilski, I don't think it even matters, because I've seen them in events where the crowd is supporting them full-fledged, booing actively against their opposition, and they still fucking bottle it. So it's a non-factor.
I love how much you're using Bottle, by the way. That's giving me flashbacks to Bottle, the Chinese CS player, the absolute legend. Pour one out.
Bottle at one
the
time.
Man who had about 1.5 brain cells total.
I'm just saying, bro.
Story for another time.
It's a shame that he had to play under Shao Saga. Otherwise, he might have gone so much further. He might have. got a few
maybe he was really good.
Yeah, maybe he was really good, and we just didn't know. We didn't get to see his potential.
Can I please have a 30 bomb? No, throw the game. Throw the game.
Maybe he was really good. Oh.
We'll never know.
All right, moving on.
A classic match fixing joke. I love it. Asian CS.
We've got our semifinals locked in here. So, Spirit versus Vitality. Anyone want to make the argument for Spirit here? I mean, it's always possible, I guess. Donk.
Anything's
doing a
possible.
Donk thing, but
bro,
are we realistically putting Spirit over Vitality? I don't think so.
I'm not gonna repeat myself. I mean, at least for me, whatever argument made about Vitality against Navi, same thing against Spirit as well. Yep. They're just on a generational fucking run right now.
All right. Looks like Pilski agrees as well.
I agree as well. Crazy. I don't really have much else to say about it other than we're not talking. I mean, the consistency has been way too good. I think consistency-wise, a whole best of 5, I would feel better about Vitality. Spirit is the kind of team where, I do feel if they just get on a hot run for a map and a half, that could be good enough to win them a best of 3 series against anyone in the world. They are that team where fucking if Donk's feeling himself, he's just had one of those fucking halves where he's just going to drop 20, then that is good enough to win the half and potentially win you a best of 3 series. So I'd give, what more interest, how often does Spirit win a best of 3 against Vitality? Because I don't know. I feel like Spirit probably has the best chance to beat Vitality out of everyone, even in even FaZe, to be honest. I think they have a better chance than FaZe to beat Vitality. So I think this is the most likely for Vitality to lose. Maybe 30-70 in favor or 35-65 again in favor of Vitality. They're just so good. But that's the thing. Spirit has that pop-off factor, and in a best of 3 MR12 format, that can't be underestimated.
Last time they played, Blast Rivals Season 1, 2-0 for Vitality, 13-9, 13-8. Time before that, Blast Open Lisbon, 2-1 to Spirit. To Vitality. Sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Yeah. 2-1 to Vitality, 13-10, 13-6, and then they lost Nuke 13-5.
But look at that Nuke game, for example. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about, where it's just like Vitality is praised as this team where it's like they're really solid across the board. But at the same time, like, you have players like Apex, even Mezzy at times, where it's like these players, firepower-wise, can sometimes like not necessarily have the best of games, or you've seen Apex like make some like questionable mistakes here or there. It just takes like an off game or like firepower-wise or an off day, and for like these like Spirit guys to be absolutely fucking on point and gunning to win a best of 3 or win a map like that. And like that's the thing, they even against Vitality, it doesn't matter who Spirit plays, they have the potential to just absolutely fist a team on a map if they're feeling themselves and they have a good read.
Yeah. And then I even went back further, and it was Katowice at the start of the year, Katowice 2025. That was a 3-0 for Vitality. So Vitality
that's a while ago, though.
Yeah, but they have not lost to Spirit this year. The last time they lost to Spirit was last year. So
Vitality haven't lost to anyone this year.
No, I mean that's fair. Apart from Legacy, to be fair.
Apart from the goats, the Brazilian goats.
Bit more of an interesting conversation, I guess, between FaZe and Furia. But I know which way you guys are leaning. Obviously, you're FaZe all the way to the final. Maybe FaZe in the final at this point.
I think Furia. Do Furia have a better chance than Mongols to beat FaZe? I think they're in pretty good form at the moment. Like, and they're going on a bit of a run in this tournament.
Think they could do a Legacy?
I don't know. I think FaZe probably have that matchup, but I think Furia has a reasonable chance to win. I wouldn't be surprised to see Furia win that matchup, to be honest, in a semi-final. But I think I'm probably backing FaZe, and I think it's way better for the tournament if FaZe wins. Like, this is the Cinderella storyline that everyone wants to happen. Is like FaZe meets Vitality in the final. Is that a best of 3 final or a best of 5 final?
It's a best of 3.
Yeah.
That's so sad, bro.
The thing that gets me though,
good for FaZe. I don't think they have a chance at a best of 5. Honestly,
the thing that gets me though about FaZe is like when it's going well, it looks really really good. But
yes,
I do wonder that if it starts to go poorly in some capacity,
we saw
what do they have to fall back on?
Yeah.
So
they definitely do have some potential for things to just go really wrong.
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't know. I'm being pleasantly surprised by Furia. I don't have much bad to say about them, to be honest.
I 100% agree with you as well, but I just feel, again, just call me a fucking FaZe dick sucker. I think they're going to make it to the finals. I think they're going to beat Furia.
All right, FaZe dick sucker. Let's put them there. No problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Vitality versus FaZe in the grand final.
All right.
Could it be the fastest 2-0 of all time?
Let's paint the picture here, right? It's ZywOo, the current GOAT. Everyone's like, oh my god, it's going more MVPs than Simple right now. Simple's right. All right, guys, I wasn't playing.
GOAT.
I'm back now, right? He's fucking clearly back.
Ooh,
I don't think
actually be a statement.
He hasn't even reached his apex, by the way, no pun intended, right? Like, he's just rising up and up. You never know what's going to happen here. And this motherfucking Simple, the aura this guy has. Sorry, man, ZywOo doesn't have the same impact, right? But ZywOo versus Simple once again. We got to watch that. Carrigan, the GOAT IGL, going up into Apex right now, is making a claim to be the best IGL we have at the moment, right? You have fucking Rops, generational run he's having right now with Vitality. Now he goes up against his ex team in another major finals, by the way, against, Rain and fucking Carrigan. Bro, you can't script this.
Yeah.
If this game goes to a map 3 overtime, it will be the most watched Counter-Strike game ever. It will surpass Stockholm easily.
Wait, I think it will probably be the most watched game, even if it isn't a good game. Just purely for the fact that, to begin with, numbers in terms of CSE sports are going up anyway. Simple being back. Bro, they had 75,000 people watching a group stage game against Heroic, the first game of the tournament, which is a stage 1 match where everyone was like, stage 1 fucking sucks, it shouldn't even exist. And yet 75,000 people were tuning into that one. Mate, other esports titles would fucking beg for 75,000 viewers.
I know, right? It's fucking simple, bro. Okay, now, who's going to win, though, right?
That was on Twitch only, by the way.
Okay,
This has a 50-50 to be the best series of all time, or FaZe just gets absolutely fucking destroyed. That is not even close.
All right.
That one's the cinema version, but then there's also like the, I don't know. What's
Okay, here's the thing.
the drive-through version.
I have like 2 hours of sleep. I'm riding on fucking caffeine and vibes right now. And I'm just gonna fucking put
Don't
FaZe.
say FaZe win this, bro.
Hey,
Don't
logically, no. Logically, absolutely not. But there is something special about majors.
You're fucked in the head.
Let's not forget what happened in Boston, the last NA major, right? The miracle in fucking Boston. Let's not forget what FaZe did at the last major in Shanghai. Everyone's like, yeah, this team's toast. They're fucking gone. They go on this fucking insane run in the playoffs. They're 1 round away from potentially winning the entire fucking thing.
Listen,
I believe in magic, not nip magic, but FaZe bullshit.
All right,
I love their bullshit.
all right. I'm just gonna look. This is my Kassad moment right here. I'm just googling mental hospitals in Bangalore. I just want you to go check yourself in. I thought he, you know, if he was here, that's literally what he would say. And to be honest with you, mate, we're not here to entertain people. We're not here for a vibe check. We're here for the pure, hard-hitting facts and analysis. You can't be giving people hope like this. It's vitality every day of the week.
People are dying every day. The missiles are flying. Life is fucking miserable. And maybe everyone just needs a little bit of magic, a little bit of hope, Jordan. Have you thought about it that way, motherfucker?
Look, I mean, I agree. We could... My year would be made by a FaZe win here, to be honest, or a Mongols win. If FaZe or Mongols win this major, my life would be okay. But
I might die from a heart attack in Mongols.
Life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Life isn't good. Vitality is going to win this grand final. And we don't even get the storyline of Vitality winning.
Why do you hate Vitality that much?
Because
life isn't fair, life isn't good. Vitality's gonna
because
win
we don't even get the good version of this Vitality winning the grand final. What I mean by that is the good storyline, like the best storyline, Vitality winning this major would be they didn't drop that game against Legacy. They have I don't know how many, like 50 wins in a row, and they win the grand final. I care. That's a fucking awesome storyline, bro. That's an awesome storyline. Can you imagine? Like that is GOAT status in all of esports.
Why does Brazil have to ruin everything? Is basically what you're saying.
Legacy, man. Best of ones. Anyway, Pilski, you're the one. I'm obviously on Vitality. Bleh's for some reason fucking snorting FaZe. So which way do you want to go?
I want to say FaZe will win. It'll be an all-time
goal. Don't make me fucking
This is going to be one of the best Counter-Strike grand finals we've ever seen in a major. FaZe is going to win it. FaZe is going to look absolutely fucking terrible against Mongols, and they're barely going to scrape a win. Mongols is going to choke really hard, and they're going to scrape a win. And Furia's going to bang pain, and everyone's going to say FaZe will lose to Furia, and then they're going to beat Furia in a very close series, and then they're going to beat Vitality.
Why do I have to be the voice of reason?
Classic.
Pilly, you're supposed to be the voice of reason. You're the Lin Vision hater. You're the Mongols hater, and you've just said FaZe in the final.
But he's a FaZe lover. But he's a FaZe lover, man.
I don't know if you guys read the comments on the SkinClub videos, but I read the comments on the last SkinClub video, and there was one that was particularly pertinent for this situation because during that last video, I said specifically, Bleh was going on a bit of a rant about whichever team's going to go through to what stage. I said, let him cook, okay? And the people in the chat, they locked in on that comment because they said, do not let Bleh ever cook again. That was the first comment. And then the second comment, the reply to that was, Bleh
cooks is in a pipe, mate.
No, yeah, well, basically, they said, Bleh cooked, but he was cooking with bleach. So I want you guys in the comments to let us know again, did Bleh cook with bleach this time around, or was this absolute cinema?
I cooked with hope. And I think we all need a little bit of hope nowadays, Jordan.
Yeah, maybe.
Or else it's bleach. Or else it's straight fucking bleach, bro. Like
I mean, this is bleach. By the way, though, if you actually pull this one off, fucking credit, mate. That one can go on Twitter, and you're going to get a lot of love, I'm sure. But do you guys think we've gone off the rails with our bracket here?
Absolutely. Like Vitality. They've already been, like we talked about it before, they've already been pushed by teams in finals and been put in uncomfortable positions by Falcons. And they have passed the test every time. There's no reason they should lose this final. I agree, though. Best of 3 factor definitely helps FaZe potentially get an upset in the same way that it might help Spirit potentially get an upset. I think against a whole, I don't think Vitality loses a best of 5 to anyone ever. And we've already seen that kind of proven out multiple times against Mouse and Falcons. So I think, yeah, I this is my hope for the major, honestly. I hope that this is the most viewed major grand final ever. This is one of the best games that we're ever going to get to see. Has some absolute banger storylines, but honestly, I can't wait for Spirit Furia in the final.
Oh god! Oh god! It would be so disappointing. Oh my god!
Why do you hate Brazil?
Me, bro.
Why do you hate Brazil?
That just kills me.
Brazil?
Because
that could happen. That could honestly happen.
They kicked LinVision out. Wasn't Pain the one that beat LinVision? Was it Legacy? It was Legacy. Legacy beat LinVision. So
Legacy, yeah.
You know, fuck that. Anyway, we should wrap it up. I don't want to hear any more of your shit takes. So, let's just leave it there.
I love how Jordan has graciously invited us to attend his SkinClub videos. You know, we've been given a nice sponsor here, and we are just holding him fucking hostage on his own podcast.
No,
and making him pick face.
No, because that's the thing, right? Like, I'm not on a job right now. You know, I can fucking like if this is like I was on a desk, I would be giving the most rational explanation as to why Vitality is going to win everything.
Bro,
I've had like 2 hours of sleep.
You're a vibe merchant, Blair. You're always a vibe merchant.
And vibes is how we live, bro. Vibes how we survive. Imagine being vibeless. Couldn't be me.